Hey everybody, it's me, Wally, for ERA Decker Real Estate. I'm a licensed New York State associated real estate broker right here with ERA Decker Real Estate in Whitney Point, New York. Glad to have you along with us this morning. As always, if you have a question, type it in the comment bar down there. There you go. It's all backwards here. Hi, Roger. Nice to see you at dinner the other day, Roger. If you have a question, type it down in the comment bar. Sometimes you may see that I don't answer your question right away. It's because I think, believe it or not, sometimes all these names that keep popping up here, hey, Tom and Vicky, Rick and Eric, sometimes what happens is it gets clogged up over there and I can't see it right away. So I'll get to it. And if I don't answer it during the 25 or 29 minutes that we are doing this particular piece of sunshine every Wednesday, I will certainly make sure that I type that in there. And as always, you can certainly message me and call me or ask me a question by doing all those various things, like maybe even the old-fashioned way of picking up the telephone. I want to let you know that coming up next week, we're going to start moving this particular Live at Lunch on Wednesdays. We're going to be moving it to my business page, which is really the same. If you look at the name above my head, it's just Wesley Wally Van Voorst. You'll see my business page pop up. That's where it's going to be starting at noon. The reason why we're doing that, I don't really know, but somebody way smarter than me that said, hey, you really should be moving that to your business page. So we're going to be doing that starting next week. So I think that there's probably something that you have to do. Go to my page, like it, and make sure that you click on the live notification thing that says it'll pop up. But that's where it's going to be. And I'll prompt you for the next couple of weeks because we all forget to do that. Hey, Eric and Jessica, thanks for joining us. John and Jamie, John, James, Dave Shaw, hey, joining us from across the country. Tom Ellis, how you doing? So it's called Ask the Realtor Live at Lunch. This is what we do here on Wednesday. So let's get right to it. Today at 2 o'clock this afternoon, the Fed is supposed to be meeting on whether or not they're going to be raising the interest rates. Now, here's the deal. There's an outgoing chairman, Janet Yellen, is going to be replaced this weekend by Jerome Powell, member of the Fed's board. So there was some speculation going on that the Fed was probably going to be raising interest rates this quarter. And I just got some word from the New York Times. I'm reading an article here. So it's not set in stone, but every indication says right now that the Fed is going to be keeping the interest rates exactly where they are, at least for the first quarter of 2018. What does that mean for you? Well, if you're going to sell a home or buy a home, what it means is the mortgage rates are probably typically going to stay right about where they are right now. And just taking a quick thumbnail sketch of one of the local banks that we have in the greater Binghamton real estate market, a 30-year fixed rate, Elmira Savings Bank is where I got this, is at 4.375%. So that's a fixed 30-year mortgage, 4.375%. That's just one slice. So the Fed, when they do raise interest rates, when they do raise the interest rate, and you hear that the Fed's going up and whatever, that usually indicates that the other rates will slowly creep up, whether it be a home loan or an auto loan or a personal loan, they may tend to creep up. So there is an indication that probably by March, the benchmark rate at its next meeting, it looks like the Fed's economic assessment is going to be upgraded to reflect the strength of the recent data. What that all means is that it looks like the talk is they're going to increase the rates. So that might mean that the mortgage rate might creep up from 4.35% to something else. So really, if you want to save yourself some money and you've been thinking maybe about buying a house and you're on the fence about doing it, now might be a good time to say, yeah, you know what, let's dip our toes a little further in the water. Let's get it up to the ankle level. Let's give our local realtor, which I would hope it would be the number up here you see, would be me. Give your local realtor a call and say, hey, look, I'm looking to maybe buy a house. Let's see where we are at. Can I get a loan? Do I need to get pre-qualified? Where can I go? What's my limit? Can I buy a house between $70,000 and $80,000, or am I okay up to $150,000 or $225,000 or whatever? That's the first place you got to go. Hey, Rick, how you doing? Wally, Jick, and Jill, and Rick. Oh, that was me, Wally. Hey, anyway, doesn't matter. I'm just looking at the comment bar. I got to stop doing that. It gets me all weirded out here. So it's called Ask the Realtor Live at Lunch. Next week, we are going to be moving this show to our business page. We'll talk a little bit more about it. It's just really the same name you see up there. You'll see two of them. Go to the second one that you're not friends with, like it, and be able to do that. So let me talk about this a little bit. Hi, Terry Ann. We are going to talk a little bit about getting your house ready for sale. So people tend to do things by dates. And coming up in January, and now we're creeping up into February because tomorrow's February 1st, people tend to do things by date. So as it gets a little bit warmer, and we saw the warmer weekend in the Northeast last weekend, I had 2 killer open houses, I think because people had a little bit of the cabin fever and they wanted to get out. It's going to get colder again this weekend. So I'm going to tell you, it's going to happen. Mark this down. It will get warmer. Yep, it will get warmer at some point. So as soon as that happens, the phones start ringing, people start messaging, people start saying, hey, I want to go out and start looking at houses now. So here's the thing. Would you not want to have your house above the or before the curve than after the curve? If it was me, I'd rather have my house on the market and ready to go and all tidied and everything just spick and span for when people decide to come on out and start looking for houses. Because as soon as the weather breaks, they're going to be out there. And if you haven't listed your house yet, and you go, oh, wow, on this first warm day, I want to get my house listed for sale. So you call me up or call somebody else up. They come out and they look at that. It's going to take another week to 2 weeks, 3 weeks to 4 weeks, whatever it may take. Let's get it done now. Call somebody. There's a number right above my head to have them come on out and take a look at your house. And let's get it ready to sell. Terry Ann, hi, Wally. I need to get my house ready to sell, so I'm really listing. That's great, Terry. So here's some of the things you have to do. I'm glad you brought that up, Terry Ann. So what do we have to do to get our house ready for sale? First of all, it'd be a great idea just to have your realtor come out and take a look at it, because they're going to look at it with the eyes on what really needs to be done. And don't hide anything, because when you take your realtor through your house, and there's a few things you can do before he gets there. When your realtor comes out and walks through your house, and it happens all the time, it's actually quite funny, is you walk through the house and we'll be going like this and looking at stuff, and all of a sudden you'll see our eyes on that one discoloration up in the ceiling. And they're going to go, oh, you see that? Yeah. Is that going to be a problem? I'm pretty sure someone's going to probably mention that. So don't try to hide it, because it's going to be there. So a good idea is to get your realtor to come out. Let's talk about the marketing aspect of your house, what they're going to do to market your house and that kind of thing. This whole process may take you a couple of weeks to a month or so to get it ready. So here's some of the things to do to get ready for your house. Call your realtor, have them come on out, take a look at your house. That's what we do. You can try to get it ready beforehand. That's okay. But you should at least set the stage and say, look, I'm thinking about selling my house. What do I need to do? And make a date. Maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe next Monday. Who knows? Here are some of the things that you need to do. First of all, don't hide problems. If there's a problem with your house, you kind of need to be straightforward about it. It's going to come up. It's going to be up on the property condition disclosure form, all that stuff. So take a look at those things and be forthright about it. If you've got a hanging gutter, you can't really hide that. But there are certain things that we're going to see. So if you got wires hanging out and that kind of thing, we can kind of walk through that thing. So a pre-inspection by a home inspector will be a good thing to kind of help you out a little bit. But here's some other things that you have to go. This is what us realtors were talking to you about. To try to get your house ready for sale, declutter and tidy up. That's the one thing. We all live in our houses, so we don't really see the clutter. We see beyond it because we live there every day. That's why it's always a great idea to have your realtor come on out and take a look at it, because they can look at your house with the eyes of the buyer. They know what buyers are going to be looking for. People want to see houses that are wide open. They want to see lots of room. If you've got closet just stuffed full of stuff, get it done. Get it out of there. Chances are you've stuffed the closet because you didn't want to see the crap, right? So you stuffed it in the closet, close the door real quick, and then put a chair up against the door so it doesn't open. Okay, get the stuff out of the closet. If you haven't used it in the last 4 or 5 years, you probably just want to toss it, I'm guessing. I went to a house one time where a friend of mine was moving, and they asked us to help her move. We walked in, and she had nothing ready to move. And I'm like, hey, you got 3 guys standing around here on your day off looking for stuff to do, and you haven't packed a thing. Well, I got kids, and, don't be so mean about it because we have to live here. Okay, well, I opened up the door, one of the closets, and I'm not kidding you. There was board games stacked from the floor all the way to the ceiling. And she had 2 kids that were, up there in age a little bit. And I said, hey, look I'm reasonably assured that you weren't going to play with all of those games in one night. You could have packed them up. So my point basically is this, is that there's a lot of stuff that you're probably not going to be utilizing for a while. And even if you think that you would, you know what? You need to be a little thrifty here, because people want to come through the house, imagine it like themselves, and imagine it being their own house, and they need to see it airy and roomed out and that kind of thing. So here's the thing: declutter, don't hide the problems, remove furniture. If you've got a house, if you've got a living room that's got, like, 4 recliners in it and 2 sofas and a love seat and a hassock, if anybody even knows what that is anymore, and all this stuff in there, and a desk and all that, and there's only 2 of you living in the house, you know what? Get rid of some of the stuff. Move it out, get rid of it, sell it on eBay, throw it, put it on one of the yard sale sites. Anyway, imagine this. If you walk through that house as a buyer and you're going, wow, this house, it's a 2,000 square foot house, but you got all this stuff crammed in there, it's kind of hard to look past that. So anyway, if you need some help on that, if you need another set of eyes, give me a call, 725-1446. I can come by and take a look at your house and tell you some quick stuff to do. And none of that stuff really costs a whole lot of money. Fixing some of the problems, yeah, maybe putting a coat of paint up there after you've had, because if you've had the leak in the ceiling, you may have already fixed the leak. I'm hoping you did anyway. Well, you may want to maybe paint over that or make sure that it's all taken care of. Terry Ann writes, what about wall hangings, leave or take down? Listen, I'm a firm believer of this. I think you just leave the pictures up on the wall. Now, if you've got a bunch of, like, Ozzy Osbourne, wall hangings and, all that kind of stuff, and you've got pentagram paintings up on the wall, you might want to hide them, put them in a box, get them in another room. That brings up another thing. Yeah, I think pictures of your family, pictures of those kinds of things, I think it's fine. I'd still leave them up, unless it's really overbearing. Your realtor can kind of tell you, take some down, take them all down. I don't think you have to take them all down, but I think, really, again, tidy it up a little bit more. Sometimes people don't clean enough either. Baseboards are one of those things that you walk in because no one looks down at the floor. They look down. Oh my gosh, I can see my baseboard needs cleaning. But no one ever wipes them down, so you might clean the rest of the house, and then you look down and you see a grungy baseboard, kind of turns people off a little bit. So those are just some of the things that you have to realize, that people are going to come through the house and they don't live there every day. It's their first time arriving. This is probably your 5 millionth time being in the house, so you overlook, excuse me, a lot of things. So get your house ready for sale. That's some advice for you right there. If you want to know more about it, you can give me a call. I want to let you know, again, next week, moving to my business page, check it out on Facebook, or you can also check me online, too, at wallygetitdone.com. That is my ERA page that you can go to. It's got listing and other information. It's got some blog posts up there that I have, so you can read a whole lot more about your home and how to get it listed for sale and how to get it cleaned up, and it's got buyer's advice on there as well. For sale by owner advice, I want to get to that pretty quickly here. So there's a lot of people that want to save some money. They don't want to pay a realtor commission. So they decide that they want to sell their home by on their own. Okay, well, I've sold my own. I've sold a plow. I've sold my truck. I've sold my horses online. I'm good at doing that. I can get that. I can market. I got a Facebook page. I can do it myself. That's all well and good. That's fine. A home sale, a little different animal, by the way. So if you need some help getting your house sold, if you want to say, hey, I want to sell my house myself, Wally, you can give me a call, and I'll certainly give you some tidbits on it. And I'm going to be straight up honest with you. I want to sell your home. I want to list it. I want to sell it. I do want to make the commission. I'll be right up front with you on that one. And why am I worth it? You're going to probably find out along the way exactly what it entails, or at least a little bit about what it entails being a realtor. But anyway, make a long story hopefully short, is I can give you some advice on being able to get your house sold. I've got all the forms that you probably need to be able to do that. When people come through your house, you're going to want to say, hey, are you pre-qualified? Most people are going to go, yep. But are they really? You don't really know that. I'm going to tell you, when a realtor brings somebody by your house, most of the time, that person is pre-qualified or going to be, excuse me, because nobody wants to waste their time. They don't want to waste a half an hour to an hour of their day when they're not going to get paid. It's just that simple. So, yeah, for sale by owner advice, certainly. Here's some other things I can give you. Advice on how to get somebody pre-approved. They come through your house. Maybe they aren't pre-approved and they haven't even heard about doing it. Tons of people are like that. I got the number for you can have them call a certain bank or a couple of different lenders that I work with, so we can do that too. Property condition disclosure forms, the lawyers, the attorneys, the other side, they're going to want to see that. What happens if you're selling a house by yourself and a realtor says, hey, I got this buyer and I want to bring them by. Would you pay a commission on that? Why wouldn't you do that? Do you want to get your house sold or not? I would suggest, yeah, just doing that. It's really up to you. I think the hardest thing for selling by owner is that you have to cater to people at any given time throughout the day. There is no firewall between you and the buyers who may or may not be qualified, like a realtor would be. So someone comes up and knocks on your door at 6:10 or 6:15 this coming Sunday while you're busy trying to root for the Patriots or the Eagles, and they say, hey, I want to see your house. I'm a buyer. I'm in from out of town. I've got a pocket full of money. I'm pre-qualified. I've got a great job down in Long Island, but I'm only here for the next 20 minutes. Can I see your house? What do? Well, you get annoyed because they're interfering with your Super Bowl party. Your wife may say, hey, bring them in because we want to sell this house because we're getting ready to move to the Bahamas. And you take them through the house and you don't know whether they're qualified or not. You don't know that they have a job. You don't know where they're from. They could be casing the joint for all you know. And stealing chips out of your chip bowl while they're doing it. So the point being is that anybody can say anything that they want to say. They even say it to us. But the point also being is that you work for a living. Your significant other works for a living. You got kids running back and forth to school and doing other activities. You got to do all that stuff. And now you have to add one more job onto that, which is trying to sell your house. It's a very difficult thing for some people to be able to do. So with that being said, that's what realtors are for. And do we charge a fee? Yeah, we do. But that's what we do. That's how we get to pay our car payment and our house payment and be able to put food on our table. Granted, I could put a little less food on my table right now. But anyway, that's a whole nother subject. So how do we sell your house? So that's for sale by owner advice. If you want to get some for sale by owner advice because you're looking to sell it on your own, feel free. Give me a call. I'll help you out as best I can. And I will be right straight up front with you. If it doesn't work out, I'd love to be able to list your house. I'd love to be able to sell it. I want to be transparent about it. So speaking of for sale by owner advice, and this is something that you don't have, and I won't be able to share with you because unless you're going to be listing your house with me, is something that's pretty cool. It's called Zap. So what the heck is Zap? If you saw it up on my Facebook site and it says, okay, we're going to be talking about Zap, what is it? Well, I think it's kind of a weird name, and it was introduced to us a few years ago, not that long ago actually, at one of our ERA International Business Conferences that we went to. And it's a really cool, I think, program that we have as realtors here with ERA Real Estate, and we have it here at ERA Decker Real Estate. Let's meet Zap. So what is it? It's a single integrated solution to run your real estate business and drive results. That's what it says to me. What does it mean for you? It means if you're selling your house, then I will spend more time working with qualified, ready-to-buy people right now than wasting my time on people who are not quite ready to buy yet. I will tell you that statistics say that when someone's ready to buy a home, when people are looking at homes, it's going to take them roughly a year and a half. I'll get my numbers a little off here, so don't quote me on it. But it's about a year and a half, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, from the time someone says, hey, makes the decision, I want to buy a home, I want to start looking, till they actually start going out and buying and getting ready to look at a house and actually buying it. So do you want me working with somebody who's not ready to buy a house for another year and a half, or somebody that is hot to trot right to date, says, I want to be in this house by Memorial Day? Of course, you want the second person, don't you? Hi, Jerry. How are you? Joanne, Doug, thanks for joining us here. Ask the Realtor live at lunch today. So what is this whole Zap thing? What does that have to do with it? Here's what it has to do. It's an integrated program that we have here, a computer program that we put people in the system, and we know their activities online on if they're looking at houses really actively, if they're not, if they backed off. It gives them a score of between, I'm going to say 0 and 100. So the deal is this, is the more activity somebody has online, and let me tell you something, people are looking online for homes way longer and way before they ever call me to come out and take a look at it. It's just that simple. You do the same thing when you're looking for things online, recipes, this or that or whatever. Everybody's online these days, so that's why we do what we do. So here's what Zap does. So it gives us a score. So I know who to be working with today. I know who to be setting up an appointment with tomorrow, and I know who do I have to kind of back off on. You know, sometimes you get those emails constantly because you were just asking for information. You're being proactive. You say, hey, I want information on this car, or I'm looking to go to school at the University of Delaware in the fall. Do you want to be inundated in stuff right today? Do you want to have somebody calling you and emailing you every single day? No, of course you don't. It's kind of the same thing with Zap. So it lets us know who's really, really active and who's not really, really active and looking for a house. And it gives us a score from 0 to 100. So if you go and you see a score of 91, if it says Wes Van Voris is looking for a house, and I log on to my Zap today, and I see that my client, my buyer client, is 91, then I know I better be picking up the phone and calling that person to go look and hopefully book a trip to go see your house, if that's the house they want to look at. If somebody has got a score of, like, we'll say, 34 or 35, if they got a score like this, maybe, 40, maybe it's something that I'll keep sending them stuff every so often just to kind of keep them in the loop. And then all of a sudden, we see that their score jumped up to 98. Why is that? Perhaps maybe something has happened. Maybe they've gotten an inheritance. Maybe their huge income tax check has just come in. Now they can afford a down payment. Maybe they don't want to tell me up front that they don't have enough money to make a down payment on the house yet, that they're busy saving for it. But their activity online tells me that they're not ready yet. And then eventually they get that big deposit, or they make that big sale, or they have some bonus check comes in, and all of a sudden, their score goes up to a 98. That means that now it's time for me to be calling them and checking in. And I'm here to tell you that in this area, there is no other firm that has Zap. And I think it's an amazing thing. It helps me be able to tell who's ready to buy and who's not really ready yet. And for what that means is that I can spend more time working on people who are qualified, ready, and willing to buy today, as opposed to people who are maybe just kind of not quite ready yet. So I want to bring people in your house, because I'm going to be asking you, hey, I got a buyer that wants to come by tonight at 7 o'clock to see your house. Can I show it? Sure. So I bring this person by, and they're not ready to buy for another year and a half. You got to leave the house. It's cold. It's going to be probably about 15 degrees tonight. You don't want to leave the house. You don't want to wrap the kids up and bring them outside when they're not ready to buy. Now, are they going to buy your house? Who knows? But it gives us a little bit better idea of exactly who is ready to go and who is a big no. So that's what Zap means to me, and that's what Zap means to you. And if you list your house with me or with anybody here at ERA Decker Real Estate, that's what we use. All of us are required to use Zap, and I've got to tell you, it's an amazing, amazing tool to be able to figure out exactly who is a little bit more ready to buy than others. So that's what we got. It's all about the numbers here. That's what I always say. It's all about the numbers. So there you go. If you got any more questions, please type them in the comment bar, guys. I'll get to them, okay? And I'll make sure that I answer every single question here. Again, it's called Ask the Realtor Live at Lunch. We do this every week. I'll bring up some topics I have to be able to talk to you about the local real estate market, and about some little tidbits about ready to, whether you want to buy a home or sell a home, and different things that you do. Most of you guys are Facebook friends of mine, so you see what I do on Facebook already. And we're pretty successful at what we do here. I've had the best year I've ever had last year. I'm hoping to get to even double that this coming year. Want to remind everybody, coming up next week, we're moving this show, this live Facebook event, to my business page. So if you go to my business page, make sure you like it. It's the same name that you see up above me. You're going to go to my business page. Please like the page, because there's a lot of information there. Information not only about houses that we have for sale and open houses, but like home redecorating tips. There's also things about cool gardening stuff and all that kind of things that we throw in there. And starting next Wednesday, this show is going to be live at lunch on my business page. So I think you got to go there, and then you got to hit the notification where it says, hey, notify me when the live events pop up, because that's where it's going to go. And why are we doing it? Because people smarter than me said, hey, it's going to go to the business page. Also, want to find out more about the local real estate market? Check out some ideas I have. Go to my website, wallygetsit.done.com. It's as simple as that. It's right up there, wallygetsit.done.com. You can find blogs there. You can find homes there. Interesting advice going on there as well. I've also got a YouTube channel. It's Wally Van Voorst. Check it out. All right. It's me, Wally Van Voorst, for Ask the Realtor live at lunch today. We'll see you next week. Have a great day. I hope it gets warmer out.